Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and it's Friday, kind of a fun Friday, and it's the day when I choose either a 3D project or a fanciful card to share with you. And today I have not quite a fanciful card. It's an action card. It is a spinner card. And this card was inspired by my friend Wendy Lee, who did a similar card earlier, but her card was a little different because she used the full Give It a Whirl dies to create the card. And I wanted to create a card that would be easily replicatable because sometimes we make beautiful cards, but we can only make one or two or three of them because they're so complex to make. And I wanted to make a card, a spinner card that was accessible, that you could make lots of and not go crazy. So I hope you like this version of the spinner card. It also allows, the way it's designed, it also allows for larger images. So I'm sure you're going to love it and maybe apply it to some other ways of making cards. So here it is, and I'll show you in a second how it spins because it's kind of hard to do it when I'm trying to mirror everything. But the little sheep, they spin on this wheel right here. So it's kind of like you can count them. So it's kind of cool and fun. And if you ordered from me in August, I am getting these cards ready to go out in the mail today, and you will get one of these. And if you spent at least $50 with me last month, your host code gift is also going in with these cards. So I hope you enjoy them when you get them in your hands. As always, if you don't know me, I send out a project sheet for my Friday project on Saturday. Here it is. It's all done. I have to get all these things ready ahead of time, and then I kind of proofread them and send them out on Saturday based on how my Friday tutorial went. So make sure you get on my email list, and you can find the link down below in the description of the video. You will find a link to sign up, and it's absolutely free. And you will look out for my welcome email when you subscribe, because there's some information in there. You can get access to past project sheets, and you can also make sure you add my email address to your email system so that I don't get bounced out of your emails, and so you can find my emails when they get sent to you. So look for that welcome email when you subscribe. All right, what else can I tell you before we start? If you are interested in my videos, if you love them, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and leave me a comment below or give me a thumbs up. That really helps me know that I am doing the right things and showing you the right things, and I really appreciate all of that. Okay, I'm going to switch over my camera and we'll get started on today's card. All right, there's my project sheet, and as always I kind of prop it up and I try and follow along as closely as possible so the project sheet hopefully and the video mesh together afterwards. So here is my card, and here is the way it spins. It's so cute, right? So normally with the Give It a Whirl dies, there's a little thumb grip right here or on this side that allows you to turn. But as I was designing this card, I realized that, you know, this whole wheel here is exposed because I'm not hiding it underneath a window. So we can grab right from here, you know, and we don't have to have the thumb grip. So this allows for larger images because the window makes the image space a little smaller. So yeah, it's really cool. You can just, it looks like the sheep are jumping over the fence, and so yay! I hope you like that idea. I'm going to show you how to make it. So let's talk about two of the products first. The Counting Sheep stamp set and the Sheep Dies, our celebration reward product. So they can only be earned with a $50 purchase. So to get both the counting sheep and the sheep dies, you would need to spend $100 because they're going to be free with the products that you order. So you can choose both of these if you spend $100. If you can only do one, I would probably suggest just getting the counting sheep stamp set so that you can use the images, because without the stamp set, the dies, some of these dies will be useful, but the sheep outlines really, they won't really look too much like sheep without these images here. So that's a cool reward that you can get. And so let me talk about one of the other products that you will absolutely need to get, and this is the Give It a Whirl Dies. It's a huge die set, and it contains a lot of fun pieces to create fun action cards. And I'll be using this wheel right here for the card. And so you can, this is definitely a good product to buy, so that will help you get the sheep stamp set, the counting sheep stamp set, and the sheep dies for free. All right, let's get started, and I'm going to follow along on my instruction sheet. So we'll bring out our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and we're going to use that large scallop wheel from the Give It a Whirl Dies. And grab yourself a piece of basic white, and we're just going to go ahead and cut this. For those of you who are new to embossing and cutting with a die cutting machine, just know base platform 1, thin die adapter 2, cutting plate number 3, then we put the paper, the die with the cutting surface facing down. See, you'll find these little ridges. They won't cut you if you just touch them, but they're going to cut through the paper when we squish it through the die cutting machine. And then we'll put the number 3 plate on top, and we're going to run this through like that. And this gives us this wheel with a hole in the middle. And that's going to be really important later on, because we're going to need that hole, and a brad is going to go through that hole to create our spinner. So we're going to need this sheep here. This is the one that looks like it's jumping. We'll need some black ink. And the key with this, I actually trimmed down my stamp because there was a little bit of extra rubber around it, and that's going to allow me to see a little bit better the placement on this wheel right here. Okay, so I'm going to just ink this up, and what I want to do is, as I'm hovering over top of this, I'm moving the head of the sheep and the back of the sheep. So the top of the head and the back of the sheep are going to be pretty close to the edge of those scallops. So that's going to be stamp number 1. Then you're going to turn it, and you're going to, almost the belly of the sheep is lining up with the feet, and you're going to squeeze this in as close as you can get. Again, the back and the head are at the top of the scallops, and the belly is just hovering above the feet, and then you're going to stamp down. Okay? And then we just have one more space left. There's 3 sheep on here, and we'll kind of do the same. So now the feet go to the belly, and the head and the back are almost as far up as you can reach. And there you have your little wheel, and that is step number 1. You'll also want to color these guys. I kept the coloring really simple because there's multiple steps to this card, and I don't want to go overboard with the coloring if I'm going to make a lot of them. I'm using Petal Pink Dark, and I'm just going to come in and color each of the faces with the Petal Pink Dark, and then I'll use Smoky Slate Dark. and just color in all of the little hooves of the sheep. And you would continue on and do the other 2 sheep. And I've already done that ahead of time, so you didn't have to watch me do that all. So now we're going to create a little template. And wouldn't you know it, I forgot my little piece of cardstock over here. Sorry, guys. There's always one thing you forget. I created the template and I thought, oh, that's good enough. But then I realized that I need to show you how to make the template. So I'm going to create a little template that is going to help me with creating this card. And that way, if you do this card over and over again, it will be so easy. I have a little diagram on the second page of my project sheet, so you'll be able to easily see this and make one of your own. So let me grab a better ruler. So you're going to measure over 2 1/8 inches from the side. And you know what? I need to give you the measurements. Sorry about that. My phone actually rings on my computer. That's not good, but there's no way I can stop it without silencing everything else. Okay, let me get back to the start of how to create the template. This little piece, just grab yourself a scrap piece of cardstock and cut it to 4 1/4 inches by 2 1/2 inches, okay? Then you're going to measure over to the 2 1/8 inch mark, and then you're going to measure down about 1/2 inch, okay? So this is going to be our spot, 2 1/8 inch over and 1/2 inch down. Then you're going to take your pierce mat, and you're going to take your pick tool, any sort of piercing tool that you have with a pointy end on it, and we're going to just pierce that hole. Okay, I'm not going to pierce it all the way because I don't want that hole, especially with your pick tool, you don't want that hole super big, otherwise that brad head, that small brad head is going to go all the way through that, and that is not what you want to do. So this is going to be your template, and what I would do is I would just label it as a template, and just put on here for your counting sheep, and then that way you'll know for future reference that this is your template and that's how you use it to create the card. Okay, this is my template that I made earlier, and it might be a tad bit more accurate since I did the other one on camera. So I'm going to trust this one that I measured earlier. And then we're going to take a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock of the exact same size, 4 1/4 by 2 1/2. I'm going to line these two up, and I'll take a pencil and make myself the mark right there. Okay, so now I've got my little mark on there. Come back in with my piercing tool and just make myself a little hole right there. Okay. Then we're going to stamp on here in the corner because we're going to emboss this piece, and there's no way you're going to get a nice stamped image after you emboss, but you can get one before you emboss. So I'm going to use this little greeting that says "You're amazing." There's also a birthday greeting that you can use with the counting sheep stamp set, so you could also stamp that on the front, or do "You're amazing" on the outside and then stamp the birthday greeting on the inside. That would also be kind of cool. All right, so now we're going to emboss this piece, and I know I'm bringing the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back and forth today, but I want to show you how each piece kind of comes together logically. Later on, you might want to do this in a different order so that you save yourself a little time. We're going to get rid of the clear plates, we're going to get rid of the thin die adapter, and we're going down to the base plate, which is number 1. And I'm going to bring in the ornate floral embossing folder. It's a thick folder, so we'll just stick this in here like that. Actually, you know what? So it doesn't slide, I'm going to put it in like this. And we'll bring in our number 4 plate, which is for embossing the thick folders. So again, base plate number 1, embossing folder with the cardstock in it, and then the number 4 plate on top. And these plates all come with your machine when you purchase it. So it's nice, you have everything you need to do this. And there we go. Now this kind of looks like grass with some flowers in it, so it kind of makes a nice little foreground for our sheep. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way again. And so we're building up everything that we need for our card. Then we're going to take a piece. This is going to be the background piece for the sheep. And this is just a regular card front size. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I just use the regular basic white cardstock. I didn't use the thick one at all. So we're just going to grab our little template again. We're going to grab our piercing mat, and we're going to grab our take your pick tool. Make sure that your template lines up with the bottom of this piece, and then you can just go ahead. Actually, it's probably better to take a pencil and do this, and then go ahead and pierce it. And again, I'm not going all the way through because this has quite a thick piercing width. If you have a smaller piercing tool, you might want to go in all the way, but just so you can get it pierced, so you can get that brad through, is what you need. Okay, so now we have the 3 pieces we need to make the wheel part of the card. And we're going to bring in the round and square brads. I'm going to need one of these smaller brads because we're going to hide that little brad head behind the fence, okay, because you can't even see it from the front of the card. So you're going to take this, and this is the order you do it in: 1, 2, 3. Take it and put it through the first hole. Then you're going to put your sheep next, and then you're going to put this in here. And then you're going to fold the brad legs, open them up, and fold them on the back right here. All right, so now you're wondering, okay, this is really wonky, Brenda. What did you do? Did you mean to do this? And yes, actually I did mean to do this. And I'm just going to I'm going to take my black dimensionals. I put those on the supply list because they've got both mini dimensionals and they've got the bigger ones. So what I'll do is I'm just going to twist this for a moment, the green piece, and I'm going to take a black dimensional and stick it in the corner here and stick it in the corner here. These are the regular size dimensionals. And then I'm just putting 2 dimensionals to anchor this piece. We'll remove the backings. Now I'm going to carefully lift and twist this into place and just align this with the bottom. Make sure it's straight. If you don't press down, you have some time to just move it a little bit. And because you use that template, and the template is the same for both pieces, your hole should align, and then you can press down, okay? So now you have the base part of this piece, and you're already pretty much halfway finished this card. All right, now we're going to attach this piece to a regular card base because I want to hide these broad legs. I don't want them showing on the inside of my card. Like I could have just stabbed through this piece, but then my little legs would be showing, and then, you know, everyone would know how you made the card. So to hide that, I'm going to glue this piece to a card base. So this card base is 11 inches by 4¼ inches and then scored in half at the 5½ inch mark. Grab my glue right here. This is Tombow. I love Tombow glue because it's going to stick this down and it's not going to move afterwards. So I'm just using some light beads of glue, and then I'm going to line this up with my card front. Okay. It's easier to put it on the card front right now because there's not a whole lot of other stuff going on here, so that makes it really easy. All right, okay, I'm working along on my list of things to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to hide this brad with a fence, and I'm going to show you how I do that. We're going to use, where did my little fence piece go? We're going to use the fence die from the sheep dies, and we're going to need a piece of crumb cake cardstock. We're going to need some crumb cake ink, and we're going to need a Post-it note because you can cut this just with the die and it will look nice. But if you ink up your die before you cut it, then you're going to have some real depth and texture to your cutting. So let me bring this all back in. This is my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Going to bring back base plate number 1, thin die adapter 2. We're going to need a cutting surface, and then we're going to put a piece of crumb cake cardstock here. Whoops, that's right there. Then over here on this side, since I don't have very much work surface, I'm going to open up my crumb cake ink pad. We'll just stick it on this clear plate for now. And I'm going to put, see all these little lines on that die? I'm going to put this down, face down on my ink pad. Okay, so now how do I get that off without getting my fingers all inky? Grab yourself a super sticky Post-it note and then lift off. And then we're going to just stick this down. And don't worry if you're getting a little messy and your ink gets moved along on there. Don't worry, it will still work out. Then we're just going to put the second plate on top. Let me close up my ink pad so I don't stick my fingers in it. And then we're going to run this through, and this will give me a wonderful image. Let's poke out these pieces that don't belong to the fence, and then I'm just going to lift this off, and there you go. Look at the depth in there. That inking of on the die is now pressed into the creases of that fence, so it looks really great. Okay, let's move this out of the way. And let's bring our card back in. And now we're going to need these little mini dimensionals. And I'll try and put them just down here. You want to make sure that they're going to be down far enough. Let me show you where you should place them, because some of the posts are going to be above here, and you don't want to stick your wheel down. So you want them on that rail and in as far as they can go without showing. And right here in the center, that's where you're going to hide that brad. So let's take off of these little backings. All right. And then you're just going to hover this over top and just bring it in like this. Make sure it's straight. And now your little brad is hidden behind the fence. So you don't know why it's spinning, but it just works. All right, so then really we just need to do a few more things to make this card look a little better. So I don't need to show you how to cut the sun, but basically what I did, the sun comes from the counting sheep stamp or die set, or from the sheep dies. I just ran the sun through with some Daffodil Delight cardstock, and that gives me this. Then for the clouds, I ran them through with some Balmy Blue through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And here are the two clouds right here. And then the other thing that I did was I embossed them with the Bark 3D embossing folder. So I did the cutting first. I cut a whole bunch of these and then I laid them all down in here, as many as I could fit that spread through here, and then I ran them through because I was making about 50 cards, so I batched everything. All right. Okay, so then we can just take the sun and add it to the top of the card. And we've got two little clouds right here. And we can just add those. And then add this one. I know blue clouds is not quite realistic, but the reason I chose to keep my background white was so that the wheel would look, so the sheep would not look funny. It didn't have a white wheel on a blue background. So there is another thing that you could do if you did want kind of a blue sky background. And here's what I'll tell you that you could do. It would be a little bit more work. Cut your back piece, your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece. Cut it in balmy blue instead. Cut your clouds in white so that they pop like clouds. Then your wheel is also going to be in balmy blue. And then you're going to stamp your sheep separately and cut them out with this die. And then you're going to glue them really well on here, making sure that the legs right here, the 4 legs, are glued down particularly well because you don't want them to catch on this wheel as it spins, okay? So you're going to just make sure. And that way you would have that blue background with the white sheep instead of having a white background. But I saved myself a lot of time by stamping directly on this wheel instead of die cutting, because that's 3 sheep that you would have to then stamp, die cut, and glue down really well. So that would be a lot of extra steps rather than just stamping right on the wheel itself. Okay, then we just have one more thing to do, and I've got a little piece of basic white. And you know, if you don't want to do this step, you don't have to, but I like that extra little sheep. So you'll just stamp this sheep guy. This is the standing sheep. He's so cute. He's got his eye kind of shut and he's just kind of adorable. And then what you would do is you would die cut this piece and you would color it. And I colored it the exact same way as the other sheep, with petal pink on the face and basic gray on the hoofs, keeping it very, very simple. And then I'm just going to pop I can find them. All right, my black dimensionals, oh, there they are. Okay. Since I'm put black on the supply list, I'll use those. So you'll just pop 2 dimensionals on the body because his head's going to be laying down here on the fence, so that doesn't need a dimensional. In fact, it would make it too high. So I'll just put those there. And then I'm just going to put this guy right here on there. And there is the card. So it's not a hard card at all. And look at how cute the spinning sheep is. And so you can make this card, you can make lots of them, and you won't go crazy. That's what I love. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm gonna come back over to you guys. Hello. Let me know what's going on, and please say hello. I have Birgit here from Germany. Hey, Birgit is one of my normal followers, and I just appreciate that so much. So let me know if you have questions, and I'll blab for a little bit. I have a host code this month, and we're in September 2021. And if you use this host code this month, if you spend at least $15 with me in my store, you will get to choose one of my free with purchase tutorials. If you spend $50 with me, I will send you the wonderful snowflakes in October. You order in September and you get these in October. And let me pull out one of these for you. Okay, coming out. Here we go. So this is what they look like. They're quite a nice large size, and I've seen so many cute things done with them. And I've also seen people use the negative of here, because this is actually comes on a fairly large sheet. I've seen people use this iridescent paper to cut extra little snowflakes out of them. If you have an extra snowflake die somewhere, you can cut use the excess paper to cut some extra things out of it. So this is a really nice gift to come if you spend $50 with me. And I hope that you go out and get the sheep dies and the sheep stamp set. The dies are while supplies last. So we're at the beginning of September. They might run out. I don't know when. I checked yesterday to make sure that they were still available and that they weren't on the low inventory list, but the sheep dies could sell out, or they're earn out, because you earn them rather than buying them before the end of the month. So if you're interested, if you want to make this card, please don't wait too long. The other thing I noticed was the Give It a Whirl die set right now is on low inventory. It is in the annual catalog, so you will be able to get it in the future. But if you want to be able to make spinner cards right now, it's about to go on back order. So if you want it sooner, I would think about getting it now. It won't be tragic if you don't get it now. You will be able to still order it later because the annual catalog runs until next spring. But just keep that in mind if you are interested in that. And especially the sheep dies, if you want to make this card in particular, make sure you get that. The Counting Sheep stamp set will be available all of September. It is guaranteed to be available the whole time. It's the sheep dies because they come from overseas. Those are the ones that won't be back in stock, and you just won't be able to get them after that point. All right, let's see who else is here. Hello, Mary. You missed the beginning. No worries, Mary. You can go back and watch the replay. And tomorrow I'm going to send out that project sheet so everyone can catch up, and it will have the link to the video on there, so everyone should be able to make this card. Mary says she has the dies and the stamp set, but haven't used them yet. Oh my gosh, well, you're going to need to start to use them because they are so cute. And we have other barnyard animals, like we have the goat stamp set, and I think they would work really nice in conjunction with each other. Good morning, Nalita. So glad you're here. Let me see what else I can tell you. Oh, I will be gone for a couple of weeks. I am heading up to Canada on Tuesday, but no worries. I just won't be going live, but I will still have a video and project sheet for you each week. I am in the process of recording videos in advance, and so my Tuesday and Friday posts will be recorded videos rather than live videos. Too hard to do all of that stuff from Canada without all of my supplies on hand. But I hope you enjoy the projects that I have coming up for you, and I will be back here my next Friday. A live video will be on September 24th. But as I said, I will drop recorded videos on my blog and they'll be sent to your emails at the usual times. They just won't be lives, they will be recorded videos. All right, guys, I hope you have a fabulous weekend. It's a long weekend here in the US, and I hope you have enjoy your weekend. And I hope that everything goes well and I can make it to Canada. I have not seen my mom for 2.5 years, and I just can't wait to give her a big hug. And so I'm going to be spending 2 weeks with her. It's just been too long, so I need to make it worth my while to go up. Given all the restrictions and COVID testing I have to do both ways, I want to make sure that I really enjoy my time, and that's why I'm spending 2 weeks with her this time. All right, guys, I will see you in a couple of weeks, and watch for those recorded videos that are coming soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.